Welcome back to the channel. We have some more weird gold to slot into your deck and spice things up. So the first today is the Shockers. Shocker is a 1 and a red for a 1/1 that when it deals damage to a player, that player discards their hand and draws that many cards. There is another version of it called Barb Shocker that's 3 and a red for a 2/2 with trample and haste. It does the same thing. Both of these shockers are good if you're wanting to be able to go and do some kind of a wheel constantly. They're good to hit other people and make them discard their hands. If you want them to draw with something like a Nekasar, you're able to do a bunch more damage that way. One thing to look into with these is a Sorcerer's Wand, or something of the same sort. Something that lets them do their damage to a player, you included, is huge. That will give you a wheel on a stick, and it's super valuable. The next is Soul Sculptor. For 2 and a white, you get a 1/1 that for 1 and a white and tapping, you have target creature become an enchantment and it loses all abilities until a player casts a creature spell. This not only gives you a form of semi-removal, but if you have the right cards in your deck, it gives you some shenanigans as well. One thing to look at is something like an Aura Thief, where you can have the Aura Thief die and then you gain control of whatever creature that you just turned into an enchantment. And then of course, whenever someone casts a creature card, you get that creature. Or something like a Tranquil Grove, where you can just use that to blow things up. It's not a very fast removal, but it's unique and it has a lot of versatility to it. Next up, we have Portcullis. This is a 4-mana artifact that whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if there are 2 or more other creatures on the battlefield, exile that creature. You return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control when Portcullis leaves the battlefield. And this is a good card to use to retain board control depending on the type of deck you're running. You can use it on Planeswalker heavy Super Friends decks, things like that that want to make sure that there aren't enough creatures on the field to be noticeable. This also is really good in any kind of a deck where you're using Maze of Ith type cards. Just being able to have 1 or 2 cards that you can get rid of instead of 5 or 10 is much easier. It could be something to look into on Flicker decks as well. If you can Flicker Portcullis, have creatures enter, and then you have all of them stacked up under the Portcullis and then flicker that. You won't get as much value as some other cards like Lumbering Battlement, but it gives you that opportunity in colorless. Next up, we have Spreading Plague. This is a 4 and a black enchantment that whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you destroy all other creatures that share a color with it, and they can't be regenerated. This is another card that's very good if you're trying to control the board, or if you're using any kind of a Super Friends deck. Just having that ability to play a creature and it wipes all of the other ones besides that, you still get that original creature that you just dropped, but if you drop, say, an Atraxa, you're wiping everything on the board except for red or artifact creatures. That being said, it's great in artifact heavy decks. If you're playing a bunch of colorless creatures, this won't affect you. Unless you have somebody using color manipulation. But that's a whole nother thing. This also could see great play in any decks that have indestructible creatures or can make their creatures indestructible reliably enough to make this card not affect them and be sort of a one-sided board wipe. The next card is Psychic Possession. For 2 and 2 blue for an enchantment, you can enchant an opponent. You skip your draw step, and whenever an enchanted opponent draws a card, you may draw a card. With card draw being such a big thing right now, and most new commanders coming out with card draw attached to them, you'll have at least 1 or 2 players that you can put this on and get a usable amount of card draw out of them. Another thing to think about is this only skips your draw step. You can still draw off of your own commander or other spells, etc. Wheels do a lot with this as well. Being able to just play a wheel, you draw your 7 from that wheel as well as another 7 from the opponent, it's great. Maybe look at cards like Copy Enchantment or Mirror Maid to be able to put this on other opponents as well. So, what are your thoughts on these unique cards? If you have any cards you wish got more play, let us know in the comments. Make sure if you enjoyed this video to give it a like and subscribe for more unique Magic cards that will make your deck stand out. If you're in need of more magic, you can visit me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/KON_ZTSU, where I'll be playing games, building decks, and talking over more unique cards and interactions that may not make it here to YouTube. And until next time, may your draws be strong.